okay, if there's not a pro career after it,
Burroughs is trying to get a girls program going though. His sister plays volleyball, and they're funding it, but I don't know if they're funding it.
well, which again would be cool to. I mean, you could have a career after, but I don't know that you're paying the bills off.
No.
You know, right? But it's like, why would you? If you can play college ball without giving up your whole life to it and still have a college experience?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys playing football and basketball trying to make millions of dollars after it. Yeah, I get it. This is your job.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, that'd be cool for us.
So did I tell you Jeremy's?
No.
Yeah. So he's a redshirt, so he's a sophomore technically. Finishes up his sophomore year. He's head coach at Rice. Gets canned after 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then his dad was like, "You want to stay at Rice?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then his he's a D-back. His D-back coordinator gets a job at Temple or something like that. So he goes, "Okay, Dad, I'll step my foot in the portal for 2 weeks."
Yeah.
TCU, University of Houston, Virginia Tech. They go visit Virginia Tech. They give him defensive back, right?
Yeah.
And he's like 5'11". He's super smart, works hard. NIL money, guaranteed $150,000 for the next 2 years at Virginia Tech. I mean, sorry, the Hokies.
Yeah. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech. And everything else is paid.
Yeah.
And on top of that.
Awesome. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that ultimately, there's going to be several extensions of the training business, but one of them is going to be like athlete services. So helping them with NIL, helping them with their recruiting process,
That's huge.
helping them navigate all that, negotiate the deal.
That's huge.
Because if you train somebody 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, you have a relationship with them.
Yeah,
and you have relationships on the other side of it too. Then
that's the key. Yeah, a buddy of mine went to the Oklahoma NIL guy. They don't have a department. This is OU football or OU.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm one guy. We're in the middle tier. We have maybe $20 million to work with on the NIL money. And he goes, we're just in the middle. And other schools have departments.
Yeah. Well, it's about to all change too once this NCAA settlement goes through and it's going to be regulated to where there's going to be a fixed amount of money that every school
is working with.
Well, a cap. So if you don't have it, you can't be working with it. But it caps the schools that have unlimited resources.
Right. UT.
Yes. Yeah. Which A&M's up there too. I mean,
for sure.
We're not at UT's level or Oregon's level, but from what I understand, A&M's in the top 5 or 8. But effectively though, what really happens is no matter where your overall cap is, if no matter what team you are, if you have a need for a quarterback or a defensive back or whatever it is, and you have one need and you have X amount of money you're working with, some school is always driving the price sky high for a good player because they're like, this player would change our team.
Right.
So even though we don't have a $50 million cap, we're going to spend $5 million on that player, and then everybody else is like, or other schools that can go unlimited are like, okay, $5.5 million, and it just keeps going up. But every player you're trying to recruit, one school is driving the price up for that one player, and so then you look at all the 20-something players you need that come every year, and it's like, it's insane, dude.
Yeah.
And that's just football. That's not even counting, because there's all these Title IX and other issues the schools have. I mean, Oregon, I think it was Oregon or Washington State was getting sued by some of their female athletes because the NIL money, even though the school is not directing it, the NIL money that was going to the football players, which were all male, was disproportionately. And so then there was a Title IX lawsuit going on up there. It's just like, I mean, it's a mess, dude. The whole thing is a mess.
And what about those players from like an Ivy League school that said, okay, whatever, no NIL money, or we're not that big, but we're employees of the university.
Right.
Yeah,
Which and now they're going to collectively bargain. That's a whole nother mess.
I know, right?
Yeah. And now they're opening themselves up to employment law, sexual harassment suits, discrimination.
You're right.
It's a mess.
So like for this kid, Tyson, the portal was a great option.
Right.
He's like, I lost everybody I care about.
Yeah.
And he's making some money, great, but it's not one guy going to each university, he's going to pay me the most. I mean, there'll be guys who'll be at a university graduate, but they'll have played 4 different universities.
It's a gamble because when you go into the portal, the school that you're at is no longer obligated to honor your scholarship. They can choose to take you back, but from the point you go in,
They don't have to honor it. The contract's over.
right. So you are taking. So there's a lot of guys that do the same thing. Like, hey, I want to go just test the waters and look around. They go in. Nobody picks them up, or nobody they want picks them up. They're like, oh, I'd rather go back. But the school that they were at was like, you went in, we've already replaced your spot. You don't have a spot here anymore. So it's definitely.
Man, I think they should sign contracts like, we're going to give you X amount of money, but you have to stay for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. Well, so A&M had a guy. So 4 years ago, we had the #1 recruiting class.
I remember that.
Ranked the #1 all time.
Yeah.
And the number one recruit in that year was a defensive tackle out of Tennessee.
Really?
And so we signed him, of course, and he got a bunch of money. Yeah, it is a hard one. But he decided when Jimbo was fired, he decided that he wanted to go look around. And so, of course, he was getting tampered with and offers from everywhere. And Ole Miss was offering a ton of money. Yeah. And so he goes to Ole Miss. And he wants to sign with there because they're offering a ton of money. But we did have a multi-year contract with them that said all the money that we paid you would have to be paid back before you can sign. And so he's on Twitter going, oh, everybody read your fine print. Like, it ain't fine print, it's the print, bro. Like, and so Ole Miss, they ended up signing, but they essentially had to like triple what they were going to pay him because he was like, I still want the bargain that you struck, but somebody's got to pay me. So we got paid back.
That's funny. That hurt their budget that year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, Jimbo didn't do what he was supposed to do that year with that class.
No, he did not. I mean, that was...
Granted, recruiting and sophomores really didn't pay off.
Recruiting was never his problem. He was a beast at recruiting. But supposedly, and it's hard to tell because you hear this every time there's a coach change. Yeah. It's hard to tell, but supposedly, like, guys weren't required to show up to practice, weren't required to show up to workouts. There just wasn't a real culture of accountability. And so when they made the next hire, it went completely the other direction, which is good at the beginning, then can also have some of its own flaws. So you got to find that balance or have to be. But Jimbo, he could recruit, man. That was not his problem.
It's like going from Jimmy Johnson to Brady Switzer.
Right.
Accountability to
hey,
boys are gonna be boys.
Anything goes. No, it's
the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think ultimately too, Jimbo was he had so much success, and he was so set in his ways, and he was so basically narcissistic to a point of like I know best type thing. And the landscape was constantly changing, and on some level he changed with it because he kind of morphed a little bit with the recruiting game, but on the field he didn't change with it. Especially what he wanted to do offensively, he didn't change with it. And so it's just like, hey dude, you either gotta, and Dabo Swinney's a little bit that way too. Like he doesn't really, Gary Patterson hopefully got ousted in TCU. He didn't want to change.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Saban got out and he was like, I don't recognize this game.
Yeah, he's like, this ain't worth it. Right. I mean, he had it on easy mode and it was getting a lot harder. He's just like, listen, I'm good.
Yeah, the portal destroyed his character, his genre of coaching, you know what I mean?
Well, because you had, he used to just stack players, and he'd have players at positions 3 or 4 deep.
They can start anywhere.
And then now that
they're like, screw this.
Yeah, now that money's an issue, or these kids are getting impatient and they're like, hey, I want to play. Because again, dollars are tied now to playing time.
I'm a freshman and I want the money. You're not that good, but normally you have to wait.
Will pay.
Normally you have to wait.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Just like when Bo could have gone to Alabama, went to Auburn. He's like, you're not going to start my freshman year, maybe sophomore year, and he's like, screw that.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, I'll go to Auburn. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have that kind of stacked team anytime soon anymore with recruits like that.
There you go, Jay. Nice.
Not good when you hit the back of your player.
So Thatcher's last tournament, last year when he played, he had this middle, his big old 6'6". The kid had arms down to the floor. I mean, he was a lefty, but he was ambidextrous. Like he'd go to jump up to hit middle, and he'd jump with both hands up, just depending on where the set was. It was crazy. But he never got to serve, and we were blasting his team, and so he was getting to serve.
Yeah.
And so I was telling the coach, he's like, "Can I toss it?"
Yeah.
The coach is like, "No, just serve." He's like, "Come on, man, come on." The coach is like, "Fine." And our libero, who wasn't watching any of this, he was just sitting down in his position waiting. So this guy goes to jump serve it, tosses it up, and hammers it, but hammers it straight into the libero's ear. He's just been sitting like this watching. I was like, bam, and they hit it to the ground. The coach was just
He's concussed the libero.
He had to leave the game. Like,
Never again.
no. Yeah, he's like, I told you not to jump. Ear holding.
Sound like a real lurch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. As a parent, I couldn't help but just die and laughing.
Yeah.
Because you're watching this whole interaction, and then it's like, I'm glad she's strong and didn't tip it. That's what I was trying to tell her yesterday. They're offside.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to lose a point.
Yeah, we'd rather you swing.
Yeah. I was like, if you see a strategic opportunity to tip, or the set's just so bad that you can't get to it, but you can swing and swing. And the set needs to be adjusted sometime and give them the,
Yeah.